I'm in the Malverns in the west of England, walking the length of the Malvern Hills Ridge. It's a beautiful day, there are fantastic views all around, and on the way we will see a castle, an obelisk, yep, that's an obelisk, a tiny cave, a 2,000-year-old hill fort. I'll stand at the highest point in Worcestershire, and finally I'll collect some of the world-famous Malvern Spring water. So I'm starting my journey in Eastnor Park. This area is the grounds of Eastnor Castle, which is just over there, but a bit more of that later. So behind me, let's spin this around, you can probably just about see the Malvern Hill Ridge. It's an absolutely perfect day for walking. Bright and sunny. I don't think I can see a single cloud in the sky. And it's cold as well. It's hovering around a freezing point, which is perfect for when you're hill walking. I'd rather it be too cold than too warm. So I'm really looking forward to this walk. Okay, I can see my first landmark on the other side of this valley. There's an obelisk at the top of this hill. That's where we're headed. So got to head down this hill up the other side. I slipped back there on the wet grass and I've now got mud all down the side of my jeans. But that's my fault. These boots I'm wearing are old and worn out and there's next to no tread left on them, and they do need throwing in the bin. So next one of these walks I'll do in newer boots. I've just taken a layer off and I think I'll have to take off another one, because every time I go uphill I heat up. When I get to the top of that ridge, maybe there's a breeze. The layers I'll have to go back on. Okay, we're approaching our first landmark. It's an obelisk, I forget the name, but we'll head on up there, read the inscription on the side and find out all about it. Yep, that's an obelisk.
So this is Eastnor Castle. It's not a real castle, but rather a 19th century stately home built in a castle style. It recently came to worldwide fame in the TV show Succession, where it was the location for Tom and Shiv's wedding.
Now, I mentioned I was walking the Malverns from the south to the north. Well, just ahead of me, that is actually the southern end of the Malverns, but it was more convenient for me to start at this point. So I'm going to head over this way now, along the ridge, and from this point you can see almost the entirety of the Malvern Ridge of hills. So I guess the next stop up there, you can see the fortified earthworks of British Camp, which is an ancient fortified hilltop, but you know, more of that to come. So after climbing up the hill on one side and now descending on the other, and it's going to be like that all the way along the Malverns. So although I'm walking along the crest of the ridge itself goes up and down. I just bumped into some walkers who saw the camera, asked me if I was YouTubing. So I said yes, I gave them the name of my channel. I told them I had a grand total of 5 subscribers, so maybe they'll make it 6. Okay, I've got a nice view from the top of this ridge now. So to the east, we have Breedon Hill. I've been up there once before, and it's great views from the top of it. It's not much to look at from this angle because it's a very broad, flat hill, but really good views. And fossils coming out of the rocks as well. That's one for another video. Now, if I turn to the south, that hill there, that's the one that we cheated by skipping. It was just more convenient to come up this way. Of course, there's the obelisk. In the distance, we can see the Black Mountains of Wales, that long straight ridge, you can just about see it. And of course, as we head north, we'll get the views the other way. Ooh, a cave. Everyone loves a cave. Right, let's have a look at this. Not the biggest cave I've seen, but nicely formed. Well, this cave would be handy enough if you wanted some shelter to get out of the wind or rain. Don't know if this thing's ancient. No idea. I'll try and read up on this somewhere. So if I find out anything about this cave, I'll slap it on a voiceover now.
So the cave is called Giant's Cave or Clutter's Cave, but I couldn't find much info about it. It's man-made, but it's uncertain when it was excavated.
So we are just about a British camp now, and as you can probably see from the shape, this isn't a natural hill. Well, the hill itself is natural, it was here, but it's been carved out. All those kind of ramps you can see. Anyway, let's get up to the top and take a closer look. So I'm walking along the crest of one of the old ramps. So this would have formed a barrier. It would have been a lot taller. So this is all kind of, sunk down and flattened out a bit over the centuries. So much higher ramparts here. And at the top of these, there'd have been a wooden fence as well. So a formidable barrier for any attacking army. Of course, if they could make it over the first barrier, they're then down in a ditch. They've got another ramp behind them with another high wall. And of course, there'd be soldiers up there lobbing down arrows, spears, rocks, burning oil, you name it. Okay, so this is the top of the fort now. So, like I say, these earthworks will have decayed a bit over the millennia. But if you imagine the ramp's a lot higher, the ditch is a lot deeper, the ramp's topped by tall wooden walls with spikes, and the fort occupied by a couple of hundred very angry soldiers, you wouldn't want to have to storm this place. Imagine waking up in the morning and that being your job for the day. All right, I'm coming down off the hill now. I reckon it's time for some lunch, and down here should be, I think there's a pub and also a cafe. Okay, I'm down off the hill and I'm walking through. There's a pay and display car park for British camp. I've used it before. It's not cheap, but all the revenue from this car park goes to maintaining all those stone pathways up on the hill, so can't complain about that. Okay, the cafe is ahead. Let's swing this round. So there's the cafe and there's the pub. So I'll see what my options are and decide which one to go for. Okay, I'm at the car park. Well, I'm just by the side of the road at British camp, and I'm at what's it called, Sally's Cafe, which comes highly recommended by a lady over there. So I've got myself a BLT and a can of Coke. So this will stick some calories in the battery. Okay, that's lunch inside me, so time to do the second half of the hills. So, somewhere on the other side of this next hill is the town of Great Malvern. Now, I'm not sure if the town is named after the hills or whether the hills are named after the town. The name Malvern itself comes originally from the Welsh Moel Bryn, which means bare hill or bald hill. And over the centuries, it's just gradually changed from Moel Bryn to Malvern. It's amazing what 2 minutes on Wikipedia can do for you. Okay, I'm approaching, I thought I was approaching the next summit, but not quite. Oh, what a view. I've said it before, but what a perfect day for walking. I'd rather this than a baking hot day in summer, because if I get cold I can stick layers on. But if I'm heaving my way up these hills on a baking hot summer day, what do you do? The clarity of the air has improved and I'm getting an even better view of some of these hills. Okay, anyway, time to get on to the next hill. Behind me, as you can see, the hills are starting to get a bit higher. Somewhere back there is the Worcestershire Beacon, which is the highest point of the Malverns. So let's press on. Up one hill, down another. There's a bit more climbing in these hills than I realised, just because of the way they sort of zigzag up and down. Up ahead, that high summit ahead of me, I think is the Worcestershire Beacon, which is the highest point in the Malverns. I think I can see a little trig point at the top of it, and if so, that's it, but we'll find out when we get there. I need to get a bit of a move on, actually. It's, let's have a look. Yeah, it's 2 p.m. It'll be dark at close to 5. Okay, after a quick descent and crossing a road, I'm now on another uphill, and I think this one is going to be the biggest uphill of the trek. Right, I seem to have got myself fenced in. That's an electric fence because there are some cattle up here and I've somehow got on the wrong side of it. I could just squeeze through, or maybe I could get around it over there. Okay, that was easy. Right, can't be long to go. Okay, at last I'm just about at the trig point. So I think I'm most of the way along this walk now. So we've got a trig point just up here, and beyond it, I'm not sure what that is, so let's take a look. So as well as being the highest point in the Malverns, this is also the highest point in the county. Although, I don't know which county. Is it Worcestershire or Herefordshire? I'll pop that up on the screen. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing here. Well, this has got the direction and distance of various landmarks. The furthest one I see is Mount Snowdon, 99 miles away. Well, I don't think we quite have the clear air for that, but yeah, obviously if it's on there, it must be visible when the conditions are right. Okay, I can't hang around. If you look behind me, I've got the rest of the Malverns. There's not far to go now. There's just a couple more little hilltops to go, and then we're at the northern end. It's 5 to 3, so I'm doing okay for time. I don't have any time to waste, but I don't need to rush either. I think I'll be at the end of this walk in, I don't know, an hour or so. But once I've done the walk, there's one more thing I want to show you. All right, last little bit of the walk to do. I've just got that hill behind me, which has a kind of little double summit, and I reckon that'll be the end of the walk, but you never know. Maybe when I get up there and look down, I'll see another couple of hills worth doing. So, 20 more minutes, I reckon we'll do it. When I started this walk, I thought there'd be a climb at the beginning to get up onto the ridge, and that would be it. An easy level walk for miles, but no. Well, I thought I was at the top then, but as so often happens, you get over a little ridge and realise it goes further. Okay, I am at the top. Right, so that's the last big climb of this walk, and that's, well, it's not quite the end of the Malverns. I could go to that hill there, and as you can see, they stretch out a little bit down there, but I think I'm going to stop here. The hills beyond this point are a little bit small, and also, if you looking at the length of my shadow, there's not a lot of light left in the day, and I've got to get back to the car. So I'll do a quick pan shot of here, show you the last bit, and I'll just relax here for a few minutes and enjoy the view. If you look behind me, so that's the ridge behind me that I've just come along. You can't see much of it from this angle because it's a kind of straight line ridge, and the hill over there, the Worcestershire Beacon, that's hiding the rest of it. So that's the end of my walk. It's also the end of my water, but I'm going to replenish that because there's one last port of call. The Malvern Hills are also famous, perhaps worldwide, for Malvern Spring water. So on my way back to the car, I'm going to stop at the spring, or rather stop at one of the springs and refill this bottle. Okay, here we are on my last stop of this walk. I'm at the Malvern Spring. Well, one of them anyway. Hayslad Spring. So here we go. So this is one of several springs that come out of the side of the hill. So the water in there has been trickling through for God knows how many millions of years. So I'll fill up my water bottle here. Right, that's my bottle filled up. So, well, that concludes my Malvern's walk. I'm going to head back to the car now. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one.